The problem is oftentimes there are programs that your subconscious mind is running that your conscious mind put there years ago or that somebody else
Hmm.
put there when
Hmm.
you were a kid. A lot of stuff that we get there, right? When we learn things when we're children, all the rest of that. All that to say, when you have programs that are running in your subconscious mind, your conscious mind may not even understand what the root program is.
So Rob, tell me right where you were at with NLP.
Yeah.
Tell me a
Yeah.
little bit
So
about it. We're
catching
going to
you up.
break it out.
Right. Catch you up. Some of the things I've been busy on. I've gotten my Master Practitioner certification. So I'm now a master level certified practitioner of NLP, of time techniques, hypnotherapy, and success coaching. And what we were talking about was one of the cool things that I love about NLP is that the strategies that we're able to use don't take years, don't take months to get things done. You find out the structure of the problem and you're able to make change quickly. And so with my clients now, one of the things that happens is we go ahead, we talk, we work through whatever the issue is, and then we have strategies to address that thing. And they're getting transformation, they're getting change in things that even for me, coaching them used to take 2, 3 sessions, 4 sessions. They're getting change in a session, in half a session. And so we're able to knock out a bunch of things that they're then able to apply in their lives. And so they're coming into the next session saying, hey, this is what's happened and this is what's been new. And they're getting dramatic improvements.
I
And
got it.
so
I got to
just
dig
like
into
the
it.
reason why I wanted to do this originally, right? I told you, Tony Robbins, I want to be somebody who makes that type of change where in 10 minutes, in 20 minutes, in a half hour, talking with me, things that they've been working on for years can get fixed.
Mm.
And now I have the tool set and I have the ability to work with people to make that type of change. I know the skills and I have and it's not me, right? They have to want to change. They have to want to do this, but I can lead them and guide them in that journey and we can make
Yeah.
amazing things
Yeah.
happen now.
That's funny, man. I was doing just earlier today, I was putting out some stuff on social media and somebody sent me a message saying, Coach, I don't understand what you're talking about here. Because I was talking about time. I did like just a little minute, 10-second video on time, and I was literally doing like an ASMR, right? I'm writing and you can hear the writing. And I said, time, people say that people are looking at time wrong and backwards, right? And I said, time don't equal money. And then it was like,
Mhm.
and I wrote on there, time don't equal money, right? And people were like, what are you talking about? I've always been
Yeah.
hearing that. It's
Yeah.
like, and then I had to explain to the lady, I says, listen, it's like that story of the plumber, right? And you've heard it different
Mhm.
ways, and plumber or somebody
Mhm.
changing
Mhm.
tires, whatever. And then the
Mhm.
plumber comes over and, it takes them like, her like a minute to find a problem and they hit on the pipe
Mhm.
or whatever it is.
Yep.
And then they charge them $1,000. They go, yeah,
Mhm.
$1,000, you were here like a minute. And the
Yep.
plumber says, it's not about how long I was here. It's about
Mhm.
knowing exactly where to hit. That part right there,
Exactly.
man, reminds me. Tell me about, I've done NLP, man. I used to follow the Bandler guys and Richard
Mhm.
Bandler and
Mhm.
Erickson and all these dudes,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
But I never got into it to this level. And
Yeah.
I did it for me. Like, let
That's
me
it.
get better. Let me
Yeah.
change my thinking, Albert
That's it.
Ellis and all that kind of stuff. So tell me, how are you now positioned? What did they do? Because my guy was gone for like 3 days. I couldn't get in touch with him. I was going to do some welfare checks, you know what I mean? I'm like, dude, you all right? And he said, I told you I was going to this thing. So let's dig into it for people listening. How then you are better positioned
Yeah.
to help them, especially in business or getting over the blocks that's keeping them from doing the business right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, good question. So let's start a little bit with kind of what NLP is, right? Because we're throwing around this acronym. So NLP stands for neuro-linguistic programming, right?
Hmm.
Neuro meaning brain, linguistic meaning language,
Hmm.
and then programming understanding that your brain is like a computer and that it's designed to run certain programs. And depending
Yep.
on what programs are running, you get certain outcomes, right?
Hmm.
And so ultimately, all of us, Erickson talked about this. Milton Erickson used to say,
Yep.
this ease, right, or the internal discomfort that we have in our bodies, whether it be mental disease or physical disease,
Hmm.
comes from at the root of it a disconnect or a misalignment of the subconscious mind and the conscious mind.
Mm.
right? And oftentimes when there's a misalignment of the subconscious mind and the conscious mind, then there will be this discomfort. There's this ease that will be manifesting because the subconscious mind is trying to do something and the conscious mind is trying to do something different. And so their wires will get crossed. And that's where
Mm.
people have these problems where they can't get over the hump. They're stuck in a rut. They want to have good relationships and they want to have
Girl,
good money
that used
habits
to be
and all the
me.
rest of this, but just certain things happen to them, right? And so the whole key is understanding how the subconscious mind works. The subconscious mind is like a computer. And the beauty of the subconscious mind is that the subconscious mind is like the greatest supercomputer ever,
Mhm.
assembled. Your subconscious mind, your entire life, your subconscious mind has been taking in all of the inputs, everything your eyes see, everything your ears hear, everything your skin feels, everything your nose senses, everything you taste through your mouth, all of those inputs all the time. Your subconscious mind has been downloading and has certain programs to run. There are certain smells when you smell them, you turn your nose up and you run away because they are nasty.
Mm.
There are other smells you smell them and your stomach starts getting ready and you start going because you have certain programs, right? And depending on what culture you're from, right, all of these things is different. Some people, depending on what culture they're from, they will smell certain smells and know that it's a home cooked meal. Other
Mm.
people will smell that smell and be like, "Ooh, what is that?" Right? But that is the programming that your body is designed for. Now, your conscious mind is the part of your brain that is aware and is able to kind of make sense of all of those inputs,
Mhm.
right? When you think about logic, when you think about reasoning, when you think about all the rest of that, when you think about that inner voice in your head that makes sense of what you're seeing or what you're feeling, that's your
Mhm.
conscious mind. The problem is oftentimes there are programs that your subconscious mind is running that your conscious mind put there years ago or that somebody else
Mhm.
put there when
Mhm.
you were a kid. A lot of stuff that we get there, right? When we learn things when we're children, all the rest of that. All that to say, when you have programs that are running in your subconscious mind, your conscious mind may not even understand what the root program is. Just like when you got a program, if you got something with your computer that's not working, it's not that Microsoft Word or that your browser isn't working. It's the execution program that you got to go into and right. You got to have understand computer science, or you got to hit that Control Alt Delete and go in there and see what program is draining all the energy so that
Mhm.
your other programs are
Mhm.
slowing down. If you don't know nothing about the computer, you can't fix that. And you're sitting there just trying to hit, close out the program and restart. And then you try to restart the computer and you try to do all this other type of stuff that doesn't fix the underlying root program. So NLP is basically understanding the language of success and how to get the subconscious mind and the conscious mind to move in alignment. This is the language. When you see
That's
the most
good.
successful people in the world, when you see the people who it just seems like they're in this flow state, right? When you, like Steph Curry when he's shooting threes, right? It's because the subconscious mind and the conscious mind are on the same wavelength. Time slows down. It's one of those things where you ever had those experiences where like it feels like it's been a minute, but it's been hours, right?
Mhm. Yeah, that's that flow state.
That's that flow state, right? And
Csikszentmihalyi talked about that a lot, right?
exactly,
Hmm.
exactly. And NLP, a lot of the Bandler, they studied a lot of what he put in flow and that whole concept. And so the whole idea is there are strategies, right? Success leaves clues. There are strategies that the most successful trainers, coaches, and psychologists have used for centuries that we now understand and have been able to model and have been able to basically create recipes so that people can use those and make dramatic transformations, make dramatic shifts in less time, with less energy, with less effort, and with greater results. And so that's what I spent two
I love
weeks
that.
going and really digging myself into and immersing myself into. It was a 2 week program. Every evening we were working. There was 20 of us in the program, all master practitioners that were doing practicing and training and getting certified in these skills. And the coolest thing, right? So I remember for me, I always wanted to be able to like be able to walk up to anybody on the street. Like I remember hearing Tony Robbins tell all these stories about, when he first started learning this, he would go to restaurants, he would just go to anybody. I can fix your problem. Come here. Let me just talk to me. I can fix your problem. And, I have never been that bold, right? Like I've never been that just full of and sure of myself. But one of the things that was really cool was when I was out there, I saw this guy and it was a homeless guy. And immediately, right, I had some compassion for the dude because like whenever I see homeless people, especially he looked like he was either drunk or on something or whatever, he's kind of talking to himself back and forth. I'm always right from my time in the service and realizing, when people struggle with PTSD and the different things they're dealing with
Sure.
mentally, it's always looking at somebody and being like, man, what are they going through? What's going on in their head right now
Hmm.
that makes that behavior, that makes that
Hmm.
feel comfortable, feel safe, right? So pulled over, and that's a whole nother story. I can tell you about that another day, about just what it took for me to pull over and to go talk to them and everything. But I went and talked to him. It was him and another guy that was also homeless. He had amputated arm, amputated leg, and I didn't know what to talk to them about originally. It was just seeing people and just being, just being generous. I brought him something to drink. I'm just talking to him, and one of the things that started to happen is the guy began to talk about how he really knows that he wants to do better with his life, and he doesn't want to be drinking all the time and doesn't want to be out there. But there's other people that's got more power than him, and right, he started telling this narrative, telling this story about how he wasn't able to to change his situation, to move.
Hmm.
And it was like boom, that was the moment where I was like, oh, this is why I saw this person, this is why I was supposed to talk to them. It was perfect. It came through because one of the things that we know is your brain is power that we have in our brains is so amazing, right? And
Hmm.
I talk about this all the time. I believe everybody's created with a purpose. Everybody has a gift. Everybody's here for a reason. But the coolest thing about the brain is that we have the ability as human beings to create, to be
Hmm.
co-creators of our
Hmm.
realities, right?
Sure
And
enough.
so many people are stuck feeling at effect of everything else in their life. Life is happening to them all the time. Their mama didn't do something, their daddy didn't do something, whatever it was is the cause for their life and the way that it is. But the beauty of it is we can reorient ourselves such that we recognize the power that we have and the ability that our brains have to create our reality. And you can shift how you're feeling, what you're seeing, what you're experiencing. And they've done this, they've done tests and done studies
Hmm.
all the
Hmm.
way from right Albert oh man Man Search for Meaning. Viktor Frankl talked about this, right? And how he got through concentration camps and some of the most horrible things in history that have happened to people, but there was a certain way that they thought about it, a certain way that they created certain things in their mind that allowed them to endure and to come out stronger on the other end. So long story less long, I'm talking to these gentlemen. I'm like, hey, do you know how powerful your mind is? Do you know how much creativity you have? Do you know how much power you have to change your life? Right. And so I took them through one of the exercises just to show them how powerful their brain was. And one of the exercises that we do is to show them how you can create certain sensations, you can create certain realities without it actually being there. One of the things that we do is we do an experiment with lemons, right? And I won't go through the entire experiment, but one of the funny things about it was in the middle of the experiment while we're there, and there's no lemons anywhere around. This is all in your mind. This is all the power of
Guess
your
what I
mind and
can smell
showing
now?
right, exactly. Showing the power, exactly. And that while we were in the middle of the activity, I'm sitting there and I'm walking him through it to show him how powerful his mind is. He's like, hey, did you spray some lemons somewhere? Like, he stopped, he sobered up. He was like, wait a minute, wait a minute.
I
Why,
smell
why am
it.
I smelling lemons? Like,
Yeah.
what'd you do?
Because you
I was like,
visualize lemons. Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
was like, I didn't do anything. That's how powerful your brain
Planting
is.
the
And
seed.
the light bulb that went on in his mind, the shift, his entire his entire energy shifted because not only was he hearing me talk about how powerful he was, he had just seen how powerful he was in a way that he never knew he was powerful before.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
was just one of the things that happened. I mean, there's a ton of different transformations that happened over the course of that 2 weeks, but that was just one of those types of things I was like,
Yeah,
you
man.
know,
Oh, I'm in, man. Whatever, whatever. Just send me it. I tell you, it's like something I had told Linda probably about 2 months ago. And she says, "What are you doing?" I says, "Well, I am content." Because I was going on a quest. I says, "I'm going to create content at a clip nobody has ever seen before, right? Or I haven't seen especially." And
yeah.
she's like, what are you talking about?" I says, "Because
Mhm.
I am content."
Yes.
Right? And next
Changing
thing
at
I
the level
know,
of
I'm
identity.
creating content and it hasn't stopped. So I had to
Yes.
switch it because oftentimes we'll create, and we'll forget to sell and market. So now I am
Yeah.
content, sales, and marketing.
Mm.
I am
Like it.
content, sales, and marketing. So
Sales and
what's been
marketing.
happening
Yes.
the moment I started doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is some Bob Proctor stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
Jake Ducey
It's
talks about
yep.
I am,
It's
right? We
it's the
are the
principle of
great I am.
identity. Yeah.
And because you identify yourself as,
Mm-hmm.
then your brain says, well, you know this stuff better than me. It says, I gotta do what he just said.
Yes.
It's like when I was
It's
talking
certain
about
programs
that's
that you
it.
set off automatically. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, man, I'm so into this stuff, and I've been producing while you were gone.
Mm-hmm.
I had stumbled because I had like 8 different, pieces of content. I
Mm-hmm.
had 8 videos that were sitting there. Now, these are the videos I don't send out to anybody else, right? I do them because of
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they were piling. I couldn't get nothing else done
Yeah.
until they got done. Now, once they got
Yeah.
done, floodgate open. Because I
Floodgates.
told
Yep.
my mind assumed, well, of course you can do something else. But you know that that's an unfinished task and the things that you want to do with
Mm-hmm.
the videos. So
And
as
it's
soon
not in
as that happened,
alignment
channel gets
with your
monetized,
identity.
all this
Yeah.
different things started happening. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
So I want to know how then are you going to take that lever that you now
Mm-hmm.
have the
Mm-hmm.
ability to pull in others and apply it? How have you
Yeah.
applied it in your business already? And how are you
So
helping people along with it?
one of the coolest things, and you know the journey of kind of my coaching programs and the things that I've been trying to do to help people for the last 7 years in my business. But one of the things that was cool was again going through and not just as a master practitioner doing it on other people, right? I use these strategies and these techniques on myself first. And so one of the things that happened while I was up there, this is the end of last month. So we created a new product, right? And again, I got crystal clear on who I'm helping, why I'm helping them, what we're helping them to accomplish, right? So our ideal customer is someone who is a high achiever, somebody who has already knows that they're capable of more.
Mhm,
But right there
mhm,
in that stuck space, right? The question I always say is that the person that knows that what I can do, knows that I can do anything I put my mind to, and now they're stuck in almost analysis paralysis because they're like, but what should I be doing? Right? You say this all the time, right? Being able to climb a ladder is great. But what if your ladder's up against the wrong wall?
and you're
Right?
looking over there like, what's all this?
Exactly. And I saw so many people in their mid to late 30s, all the way up into mid 50s to 60s that are struggling with this. And divorces happen because of this, right? People shift jobs, people,
Mhm.
midlife crises, all these types of things are happening because of this issue. And what we did is we said, okay, what can we do that can dramatically impact that experience for people and get them in alignment with their divine purpose. Because, when
That's
I wrote
good.
Thriving in Chaos, we had a bunch of different people that have read the book and followed the principles, and I've taken people through. And so we knew that we had the ability to do it. But one of the things that I wanted is for people to get faster results. I didn't want it to have to take 90 days for you to see something.
Hmm.
I didn't want it to have
Hmm.
to take, 6 weeks for you to see something. And so what we did is we put together a program called the Alignment Accelerator. Because the one thing that we know is when your conscious mind and your subconscious mind are out of alignment, that's where all the stuff comes up. And so the Alignment Accelerator does two things. Number one, it accelerates your alignment, right? It gets you out of that space. We talk about it when you look at the car. If you've ever driven a car that's out of alignment, right? You
Oh
get up to
man,
about
it
30, 35
shakes.
miles an
And
hour
when
and
you
you're
hit the
shaking
brakes, it's like it
right?
shimmies. Yeah, yeah.
And you're holding on for dear life trying to make it. So you can only go like 20, 25 miles an hour. So you can't get nowhere,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's
And
good.
as soon as
That's
you
a
get
good
up to 40,
analogy.
45, you feel like you're about to go off the road. And it's really scary to drive that car. Same car, when it's in alignment, you can drive at 90 miles an hour, driving it with your finger, just holding the steering wheel just right here
So
and
good.
going 90 miles an hour, right?
So
And so
good.
that was the concept of the alignment accelerator. And what we do first is we help people to get very crystal clear on what their purpose is and to align what they're doing now to that purpose. So they're never out of alignment. They're in that resonance, they're in that flow state. Because again, when the car is in alignment, we can go a lot faster, a lot further, a lot faster. So we
Mm,
get them in alignment. And that doesn't take, 3 months. It doesn't take 2 months. In the first two sessions, the alignment that people feel, the breakthroughs that they have, the
mhm, mhm,
aha moments that they have about who they are and why they're here and what they're here for have been just phenomenal, right? And then over the next 4 sessions, we literally do, gargantuan kind of quantum leaps. And people are getting done things. I remember when I used to apply this stuff when we were coaching with the other program that we coached with, I would have people at the beginning of the program say, okay, what do you want to accomplish in the next 12 months in your business? And they
Hmm.
would give me,
Hmm.
I want to do this. I want to do
Yep.
this. Okay. And then we had a 12-week program that we coached and trained people through. And I was like, what would you like to accomplish in the next 12 weeks? To a person, they would get done 6 months or more of their 12-month goals in that 12-week period. That's what we're
Crazy.
doing. We
That's
brought that to the
10x.
alignment
That's
accelerator.
10x is easier
Exactly.
than 2x stuff.
Exactly. And so that's what they're getting now. And we put that program together. And I mean, it has been the most aligned product that I have put out in my life. I mean, the clarity calls that I'm having with people are just so dramatically different. And it's so easy to see whether or not somebody's a fit for the program, whether or not this is what they need or they need something else. And the people that we've gotten that have been starting the program, like I said, it's been a joy to be able to go through it with them because you see it's like scales falling off their eyes, right? Like they can finally see who
That's
they
so
are
good.
and what they're here for, and they feel that trepidation, that fear about the future that so many of us actually run away from because it's uncertain and we don't know, and we don't know if we're going to be successful, and so we have the fear of failure and the fear of success
Mm,
all clouding our judgment.
that's
All of that
good.
goes away, and you see people marching into their purpose with just this newfound passion, this newfound courage, this newfound confidence, and it's an amazing experience. So we've got that launched, and over the next couple of months, we've got a couple more spots that are left in our founder circle. And then our goal is to continue running that program as a year-round program. We bring in a cohort once a month, and then we run with that cohort, and it's all individual coaching for now. I think for the first year we'll probably do individual coaching in that program, and then eventually it'll get to the point where our staff will only be able to do group coaching with it. But right now we still
I
got
love it, man.
slots individually
I'm
for
loving it.
to
I
work with
love
people.
it. I love it because I think people want to get better all the time. And it's kind of
Yeah.
age, it's not even age specific. You're
Hmm.
30, you're thinking about, man, I need to be doing more. And yeah, you probably do.
Hmm.
I literally was
Hmm.
asking Perplexity today. I says, how is it that Elon, it just seems like he's lapping the field? And I use that term, lapping
Hmm.
the field. And then it
Hmm.
says, well, because, da da da. And then he uses first principle, blah, blah, blah. And I says, I was listening to Kevin O'Leary on I think it was maybe it was Diary of CEO or something. But anyway,
Yeah.
he said that Elon's all signal, no noise. Even the way
Hmm.
he has kids, bro. I thought he
Yeah.
was, with these women. No, he says, go get IBF. What? Yeah, and he pays them. Now that's a
Yeah.
little whatever, but I mean, hey,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
He don't,
Yeah.
I don't have to, be
Yeah.
in a
I,
relationship
I
with you.
remember that interview. He talked
Just
about Elon is
take
like that. He
this.
talked about
I'll give you
what's his name?
$12 million, over the court, whatever.
Yep.
But
Yep.
but you
What's
start
his
thinking
name
about
was like that too. Steve Jobs, he said he was the most
that's what he said
signal,
too. Yep,
no
most
noise person.
signal,
Yep.
least noise.
Yeah.
Now, imagine this. I'm really curious about, and I'm looking at one of my index cards up here, and it literally says, "Help people do more, faster, better, and with less effort."
Yep. Yes.
Right? And I think
And
I cribbed that from Jay Abraham.
yeah, that's
So,
exactly what we do. And the thing that I learned, because me and you, Tony Robbins, Jay Abraham, like that interview with Tony Robbins and Jay Abraham
oh
is
man,
one of like
just
I still
epic.
listen to it on repeat, and it's from probably 10 years ago, right? But the thing that I realized with so many of my clients was yes, doing more, doing it faster, doing it better, getting better able to accomplish is a desire, but that
Hmm.
question though, that alignment question, that am I leaning my ladder up against the right wall? Am I
Hmm.
going in the right direction?
Hmm.
Do how can I be certain? Right? Because a lot
How
of
do you
times we think we
quantify
know.
that? Yeah,
A
I'm
lot of times
curious.
we think we hear the calling. A lot of times we and what happens is we get started down the road and then all the doubt sets in and then all the second guessing and the questions. And now you stop this one and you go back and you start this one and you get down the road and so you're stuck in this state. And then right
Gosh.
after a while, you just start plowing ahead just so that you can get something done. But again, you're not feeling like you're actually moving
Yeah.
where you need to move. You just
Yeah.
don't want to feel confused no more. So you just block it all out.
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
so many people deal with that. I've dealt with it myself personally.
Yeah.
And the
I
one
have too.
thing that I realized was, and I had to learn it for me, how to be resonant, how to be in that space where you're constantly downloading, constantly in alignment with your purpose, constantly tapped in to right source and understanding what you're supposed to be doing. And this is the key thing. I think this is the thing that separates the alignment accelerator from all the other kind of do more, quicker, faster, better programs that are out there in the world. And that is what we focus on first, more than anything else, is you learning how to resonate with your divine purpose so that you can feel what that flow state is, recognize what that flow state is, and recognize when you're out of alignment. Because here's the reality: a lot of people think that the journey is always being in alignment. It's not it. An airplane, when it's flying, is out of alignment with its destination 99% of the time.
Wow, I didn't
Say
know
that
that.
again for people in the back. An airplane, when it's
99% of the
flying,
time?
is out of alignment 99% of the time.
So what does it do?
So, what it does is it's constantly adjusting to get back
Mm,
on course,
course correction.
right? It's
I love
course
that.
correction. And its ability to course correct means that being out of alignment doesn't take it off course. As a matter of fact, because it knows inherently what being on course feels like, is like, what all of that is, because of all of the, right, especially when it's on autopilot, all of the sensors are there such that when they're out of alignment, when the plane is off course, the sensors start going off
Mm.
and they then adjust. And then the sensors, there's a feeling of equilibrium. There's a feeling of alignment that the plane understands, that the pilots understand. But then when it's off, now the sensors go off. And it's us learning two different things. You have to learn, number one, what good feels like, what alignment feels like, what on course feels like. So that then when you're off course, you know what you're getting back to instead of just going away from
Oh my
off
gosh,
course.
that's so good. Rob, I'm gonna just tell you, man, I'm inspired just listening to you. So, if y'all listen, you made it to this point in the comments, light those comments up. What did you hear? How can you apply just what you heard so far? Now, Rob is gonna leave you information where you can go into the other stuff. But it's like that course correction is something I heard recently about a guy teaching kids to play chess. He says, these kids want to do other things. He had to try to teach them how to play chess. And he
Mm-hmm.
says the traditional way is that you learn all these different things. He says the first thing he taught them was what winning looks like. He
Yes,
says, I'm going to teach them how to win first. Then what happened? He says, once they learn how to win, then he taught them the game.
that's it.
I was like, oh, wait a minute. So let's see
That's
if I
it.
got this right. That's like being, like when we are out there talking with entrepreneurs, we're asking those questions, traditional questions. Where would you like to go?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? And then we go, well, that person over there has already done that. So now they go,
Mm-hmm.
wait a minute, it can be done. Well, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even the big goals, it can be done. So now they have
Exactly.
well, if they can do it, I know that it can be done. Now then they start saying, well, I don't know if I can do it because of all of
Exact.
these
All
brain
the things.
boogers. I heard the guy say that once,
Yep.
all these brain boogers start happening,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now, when
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
unwrapping it with NLP,
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
literally, man, I could not get through undergrad for years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I would quit. I've spent thousands of dollars, man. Something too hard. I didn't want to try, whatever. I went to a hypnotist.
Mm-hmm.
I kid you not, hypnotist.
Yep.
I,
Yep.
a guy came and talked to, I think, no, actually, he
Yeah.
was one of my professors or something. And he
Yeah.
had said that he does hypnotism,
Yep.
not a hypnotherapist,
Mm-hmm.
got you, hitting pillows and stuff, but a
Hello.
hypnotist, a hypnotist. So I went
Yep.
to, and I got hypnotized to think differently about the goal,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it doesn't make you, all of a sudden,
Yeah.
get a
No.
cape and
And
you can
yeah.
go
The
fly
thing
and
that
all
a
that
lot
kind
of
of
people
stuff.
don't realize is all hypnosis is self hypnosis.
Yeah, and
Right.
it came from within. Bro,
Yeah.
I kid you not. Now, I had been trying for years to get through undergrad, and within it must have been about 8 months, I
Mm-hmm.
got through. Why? Because now I found things that I could do. Weekend school. I was, going and listening to audio programs and then taking the test. I flew through it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Then started a master program.
That's what I was
And
about to
by
say.
that
Not
time,
only do you have a bachelor's, you
it
got a
was in
master's
me.
too,
And
right?
at that at that
Yeah,
at that at that point, it was in me.
exactly.
So
And
is that what you're doing when you're talking
yeah,
with? You gotta do you do a little unwrapping? Because I got a
yeah.
collaboration going with a trauma specialist right now.
Hmm.
And what
Hmm.
we're doing is I'm the business side. I'm saying, hey, look, I think people are financially traumatized. So you handle the trauma piece and I'll handle the money piece. But first, and
Hmm.
that's what we're kind of doing. It's like,
Yeah,
hey, get unwrap the trauma so that you can get on to the business of your
yeah,
dreams going on.
yeah, yeah. No, all of the stuff. So hypnosis is one of the things that I'm certified in as a master practitioner as well, right? So there's so many different modalities, right? So NLP again, neurolinguistic programming is of course the strategies of speaking to the subconscious and using language to change the experience that we have. There's also what we have called time techniques. And a lot of people, you were just talking about, right? Therapy, traditional big T therapy. What a lot of people struggle with is that it takes forever, right? You have somebody seeing a therapist for 10 years and it's not that it's a bad thing, but one of the things that Richard Bandler used to ask, he's like, wait a minute. So if somebody's been seeing you for 10 years, like, do they have half of the problem now? Or like how much of the problem has been fixed in the time that's been going on? And that's the thing that a lot of people in the industry were always trying to figure out, how do we do this faster? How do we get people results now? Because the subconscious mind doesn't need lots of time to transform. As a matter of fact, many of the programs that are running in your head right now were not formed over years. They were formed in instants, right?
Mm.
They were
They
formed in moments,
they like
right?
embedded
You
or what do they call
right,
it?
when you got bullied when you
Implanted
were
or
a kid, you learned a certain thing about how to deal with people. It wasn't that you kept getting bullied and kept getting bullied, kept getting bullied. It was in that first instance that, and then that just every other time after that just kind of reinforced that learning. So the subconscious mind can learn
mm,
very quickly. So hypnotherapy, right? And hypnotherapy, little t, not big T, right? Is the process of helping people to get into the state where the border or the barrier between your conscious and your subconscious mind, where that tension and where
mhm.
that disconnect is happening for a lot of people that are struggling, where that they're able to communicate better. And so what a hypnotherapist does is basically helps you to communicate with your subconscious mind and transform your identity, change what
I
the
love
patterns
that.
are or what the programs are. You had a program that said school is hard. You didn't want that program anymore, but every time you tried to do it with your conscious mind to your subconscious mind was like, nah, bro, we ain't trying to hear that. You already told us school was hard, right? And you ain't fixed that program. You ain't fixed that program yet. Sorry, doesn't compute. And so with the hypnotherapist, what he helped you do was to go in and say, no, no, no. We're going to rewrite this program. School is what we want to do. It's part of our identity. It's part of who we are. Now, here's the key, and this is the thing that so many people don't understand. Like nobody is ever in charge of you. Nobody's ever in control of you. A hypnotist or a hypnotherapist, all they're doing is helping you to communicate and to transform your subconscious mind, transform the programming. They're helping you do what you're already wanting to do, right? And so what winds up happening, what you just explained it perfectly, you had that hypnotherapist help you to get into your subconscious mind and reprogram it properly towards what you wanted. He facilitated it. You reprogrammed because you said, here's the program that I want instead of the other program, right? You did all of that. And then
I love that.
it worked and it changed it, right?
So,
That's literally what we do.
it's so if you think about it, man, it's so simple on its
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
I tell you, I'll give you an example. So I was taking some notes today,
Hmm.
and one of the things I was listening to Dan Priestley,
I love
and
Dan Priestley.
yeah, it's just a G man. And I'm like thinking
Hmm.
about the stuff that and it was so simple. I was like, bro, this guy's, and then he creates a product around. So anyway, this is some of the things he says. This is what you typically will ask somebody, right? It says, what is it that you're doing,
Hmm.
right? What is it that you're not doing? Are
Hmm.
you adhering to certain things? Okay. And he says, well, what's your current reality? What's happening? What do
Hmm.
you want now?
Yep. Yep.
Or, what are you currently doing? Right. And then he said,
Yeah.
well, what do you want? And he's,
Hmm.
he kind of, he's from Australia, so he's kind of framed it a little
Hmm.
bit differently. He says,
Hmm.
so that's like the desired reality, reality. And he says, hey, what's in the way? And if you think about this, that's hero's journey stuff. That's
Yeah. That's
studio stuff.
exactly what it
That's
is.
Hollywood stuff.
That's exactly.
The main character is living his life, current reality, just chilling,
Yep.
right? And then all of a sudden
Yep.
somebody comes up and smacks him and takes his car or something,
Hmm.
and then go robs
Hmm.
a bank, and now he's in trouble. So now he's spending the rest of the movie getting back to the state that he was in. And it is through
Hmm.
that process that he goes through so many ups and downs that he gets better or she gets better.
Exactly. Exactly.
She, in other words, transforms.
That's it.
Are
That's
y'all,
it.
listen, guys, are y'all hearing this? The two
Yeah.
business guys are masterminding neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. Rob is now a practitioner. We do this kind of stuff. We're constantly learning
Hmm.
so that
Hmm.
we can add more value to you. Now,
Yes.
we obviously use it for ourselves because I want to be
Hmm.
better. But
Yep.
then we go out into the marketplace and go, hey, I just learned something new. You want me to help you with it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, man, this stuff is getting it's getting more fun because we have AI. It's
Yeah.
getting more fun because what AI does is accelerate what you already know.
That part. And the way
Not
that we are
replace,
using
accelerate.
AI in the alignment accelerator, we're training people and showing people because that's the other thing, right? You know this. We talked about this. So fans of the show, you all know that I got my certification as an AI specialist 2 years ago now. Um, and so like when the wave of AI started, I was like, I need to learn about this. And so part of what we've done is we've embedded AI prompting and how to use ChatGPT and other AIs to dramatically increase your productivity, especially before trying to be productive with stuff that other people need, how to be productive on your journey of figuring out what your vision is, what your goals are, what your plan is, and all the rest of that. And now what I do in the alignment accelerator, people get the strategy work and the planning
Mhm,
work that would take them 3, 6 months, sometimes even a year, and they get
mhm.
it done in a couple of days.
Man, I'm very, very happy, y'all. I'm just happy to know the guy. So that's the part I like. And that's why we mastermind. That's why we do this. I can tell you, I don't care if I get 3 views. I now have the ability to take the information and use it on self.
Yes.
That's why, I missed Rob because guess what? He was, I said he was gallivanting, across the nation, but he was out there doing some stuff for you. So listen, this is what we want to do. We want to have an actual call to action. I want you to be able to get in touch with Rob and ask him how he can help your business using some of these new techniques. Rob,
Yeah.
where can they get in touch with you?
Well, something that we did recently for people, because like I said, defining success, figuring out what your purpose is the biggest thing that is step one of any program that I teach, anything that I teach my students and my clients. So what we did is we created a defining success self-reflection tool, right? So it's a tool that allows you to really look at what does success mean to you? What are you trying to get? So that whoever you're trying to get to help you, no matter whether it's in your personal life, in your professional life, right, with your family, whatever it is, that you actually know what good looks like and you can articulate it. Because there's a lot of us that know what we think we
Hmm.
want, and we think we know what we want, but when
Hmm.
people ask us, right, it's like that time if you ever ask somebody what they want to eat, and they're like, "Well, I don't know, you pick," right? Right now, you know what you want, but you
I'm
can't
keto,
really
so I
say
know
it. So you hoping,
exactly what I want.
right? But you hoping that
Meat.
they say what you want
Yeah.
because you don't know how to articulate it yet. You don't know which restaurant you want to go to, but you know that you kind of want like steak and a potato or something, but you don't know exactly which restaurant you want to go to, whatever. That's how most people walk around. What we've done is we put together a self-reflection tool to help you articulate exactly what you want, because the likelihood of you getting what you want when you ask for it, if I go into a restaurant and I say, I want a steak cooked medium rare, I mean, medium well, or medium, which is the way that I get my steak, right? You're much more likely to get a steak cooked medium than if you say, I think I think I want some beef, right? And you don't have any idea about exactly
Right.
what you
Yeah.
want, how you want it cooked, whatever. Now you got to ask questions. Now it's going to be a long time between you getting your steak and actually getting your belly full and feeling good versus the reverse. And so this tool, it's really simple. It'll walk you through, and there's a guided meditation that's a part of the tool as well, and it just basically gives you the ability to really figure out what does good look like for you. What are you trying to do? Remember, we talked about what when you're leaning your ladder against a particular wall, what does success really look like for you?
Hmm.
And so that you can define it and articulate it. And so we'll pop a link in the description so you all can get that. It's a free resource that we give. All you gotta do is go ahead
I'm
and
literally going to
request
put
it.
this, y'all, look for the pin. It'll be in the pinned comments along with some of the other stuff that I put on the pinned comments. So look
Hmm.
for it.
Yeah.
And we'll put it in the description field for you. So, all
Yeah,
right.
and then
Hey, y'all, that
the
that
other
is
thing
that
that we're
is
doing real quick, the other thing that
all
we're
right. Yeah.
doing for those of you all that love that, I open up a couple of spots on my calendar every month for what I like to call clarity calls. If you're
Clarity
trying to
calls.
figure out where you're going, what you're doing, and what the plan is, we'll put about 25 minutes on the calendar. We'll walk, we'll talk, we'll figure it out, we'll brainstorm a little bit. And by the time you get done with that call, you'll have a plan. You'll know what your next steps are, right? It's not going to be, detailed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, but you're definitely going to have your next steps and what you need to be doing and a real understanding of the direction that you need to be going in. So, again, I put a couple of those on my calendar. Go ahead and reach out. Once you download the resource, then you're eligible to get on my calendar for a clarity call.
That's good stuff. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you on the next one. See you then.